What are what?
All right. Okay. So what if I?
What are three? What are
Have you
three?
seen? Do you know what I'm talking about? What if So what if I? Welcome back to the Haven Community Conversations, where we talk about faith, life, and everything in between. I'm Zane. I'm joined here by my brother Daxton.
Hello.
And we're doing like the brother version of the Haven Community Conversations. It's still the same basis, but it's just like, but it's not like centered around one person.
Yeah,
I guess.
evenly spread.
That's what we're dealing with today. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Doing good.
Doing good.
So the first question.
Okay.
How would you describe me? And I'll answer the same question. How would you describe me in 3 words? Be careful. Very careful.
I think we share some of them. Definitely creative, logical, and empathetic.
Dude, I appreciate that. That was pretty cool. I appreciate that one. All right, so 3 words I would use to describe you, I would say is funny, very fun, like quick, funny. I would say very, I would agree, logical, and I think you're very caring. I think that's three good things for you. And I think, instead of logical, I want to do intellectual. I think you're very intellectual. So I think you're quick, funny. I think you're intellectual, and I think you're caring. So, yeah. So
you needed a different word for.
I need a different word.
Empathetic.
I did, because I feel like I just said the same thing you did, but I just had to use different words. I have to be original. That's just what I'm. So
there you go.
All right. Next.
Yeah, we'll just keep flipping.
We're flipping.
Who got in trouble more as kids?
Oh crap!
I think we were both pretty good kids. I mean, we were. Yeah, I'm gonna brag about myself.
Get out of here!
I'm gonna
get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Compared to how we could have been, I think we were probably on the better end for the most part.
I think so.
Didn't really sneak out.
I think, honestly, I think we were pretty good kids.
Yeah.
For like being real, I think we were pretty good kids for what we were. I mean, we were pastors' kids. There are really 2 levels to pastors' kids, if you ask me. I think there's PKs.
Yeah.
You know what PKs are, right? Fine. Yeah, no. So PKs are pastors. It's short for pastors' kids. I think, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but so there's PKs, and then there's preacher's children.
Yeah.
A preacher's child. A preacher's child is more of a good kid, like a goody, 2 shoes, and then there's PKs who are just crazy. I think we're somewhere in the middle. We got in trouble as kids. We got our,
Yeah, but we were. I think
got our fair share of groundings, but I think we were raised right. So
sure.
Yeah. Who's the bigger risk taker? And I know the answer to this question. I mean, that's just kind of a given.
Yeah, it's me.
It's you.
It's me.
I have way too much discretion, I think.
Yeah, I think that was probably good that we grew up like kind of with that same attitude that contradicted each other, so we'd find that
I find that
kind of the balance.
Kind of like whenever you want to do something crazy.
Yeah, and you're like, that's not a good idea, man.
That's a horrible idea. But I think like whenever I'm being too cautionary, you're like, okay, you got to take some risks here. You got to live life a little riskier. Because I'm not like that. If I could sit in a box for the rest of my life and just stay in that box, that peaceful box, I'd stay in that box.
And by living a little, I mean jump off a bridge, but
Well, maybe not that. I wouldn't go as far as to say that, but whatever. whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat. All right, what's one memory that sums up what it was like growing up together?
Oh man. I mean, I think that's a broad question. I think you could find things that, sums up, kind of how our humor cooperated growing up, or, how we entertained ourselves. I mean, we were, like when we were bored, we just made, stupid games, like rather in the car or something on a road trip.
Yeah.
But, also like, I think in times where we need each other, I think we were,
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's a lot of different times that I could give you, but
Yeah.
on the spot, it's a broad
Yeah.
question.
Well, I mean, I think like summing it up for us, I think, well, one, like we had lightsabers growing up.
Oh,
like those
dude.
toy lightsabers, like that was our thing.
Yeah.
Those lightsabers, and we loved.
Broke them all.
Yeah, we watched Star Wars, and while Star Wars was going, we'd be, lightsaber fighting. That was fun. We'd be acting out the scenes. That was pretty good. Yeah. And then we would also make like stupid games up, like
Yeah, so staying in the car, yeah.
We had this game growing up where like we'd be on like a road trip. We'd always go to West Texas growing up because our great grandparents were there. And we had this game where I would normally be on the right side. We just kind of normally on the driver's side back seat, and the Dax would be on the passenger side back seat. And we did this game where we would just smack the middle of the seat, and then like whoever caught one another's like arm, and then we just scream. That's about. I think
and it was
that is
truly it was the most entertaining thing we could possibly do.
I think that one sums up the stupidity of the things that we'd make up. That is pretty much the epitome of us growing up.
What's something? What do you think is something we learned from each other?
Oof. There's a lot. I think I've learned to. Growing up as someone who overthink a lot. Overthink. What is the past tense of that?
Overthought.
I overanalyzed a lot growing up. And I think you did too, in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think that I would learn how to relax in this area. If that makes sense, I think the fact that you were more relaxed or laid back about certain things that I would definitely overthink about or overanalyze.
Sometimes you were valid though, Sometimes we're in we could be in a serious crisis.
Oh yeah,
maybe I'm just like, man.
Yeah, we probably should think this one through. Yeah, no, we've been through plenty of those. But I think I've learned you and a couple of my friends I had growing up who didn't think. There wasn't a thought behind their two eyes. No, that's not what I'm saying about you. There was definitely thought behind your two eyes, but I had other friends that didn't, and they helped me relax a lot, maybe too much in some areas, but I think you did the right amount of that. So, So thank you for that. Thanks
for keeping me safe with your analyzation.
Overanalyzation.
Skills. Yeah.
I think I think honestly. Yeah, I think it kind of balanced out.
I definitely think that just vice versa. I think, not quite. I guess it's the opposite. I think you taught me how to, I guess, be more cautious in a sense.
Yeah.
Like the weight of a situation, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that prevented me from getting in more trouble than
you should have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it balanced out. So I think that was, I think, a good thing about. I think there's a healthy amount of overthinking. So I don't think I have a healthy amount of I think I overthink too much, and I
think as I've grown up, I think I've adopted that same thing. Unfortunately,
thing. Yeah, I think everybody does.
Now it's time to antagonize each other. What's one thing that drives you crazy about me?
Ooh, it's a great question. That's a really good question.
It's the last one before we go into prayer, so let's keep it holy in these grounds, please.
I think honestly, whenever we go, and I was kind of thinking about this because I saw this question earlier, so I was kind of thinking about it. I think honestly, whenever we go to like an event, hold on, easy. I think when we go to an event, that my friends are at, I think you stick by me like a freaking duck.
Yeah.
You do. that is something you do. Like, I'll walk over here, and I get it. I do it too.
I follow you around like a puppy,
Yeah, you do. In which, honestly,
I didn't know you had that so much.
I get, no, hold on. I get it. I just think, I had to think about this question because I didn't. There's not much. I mean, whenever I
Seemed
was
very
younger,
quick.
whenever I was, I think we used to make each other a lot madder, like a lot angrier. Used to. I
Yeah.
think I kind of woke up one day. I was like, this guy's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's always that kind. But let's be real. I mean,
Got promoted?
there was a time we weren't, super.
Oh yeah.
We didn't really like each other.
I think in my preteen, like early preteen years, I think
hated
we conflicted a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Conflicted
conflicted a lot.
a lot. Yeah.
No, we did. We had a lot of conflict around that time. But then I think we kind of woke up one day and we're like, this guy's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the only thing that I can think of, like in recency that I can.
I don't know when I've hung out with you or your friends recently, but I'll take it.
New Year's.
Oh, it's like I'm a complete hypocrite when I talk about this. But whenever I'm exhausted and you spaz out or something like that, dude, like nothing frustrates me more on the face of the planet. But obviously, whenever you're in the same position and
And then
and
you
I'm
spaz out.
energetic, I do the same exact thing. But I'm not gonna talk about that too much because that's not
Because this is about me.
Yeah, this part is about me, but
Okay. Very good.
yeah, but no, I don't think. I think it's just slight irritations. I don't think anything actually makes me truly mad with you much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a time.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pray us in, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
Heavenly Father, thank you so much for being here, God. Thank you. Thank you for being such a blessing in our lives, God. Thank you for giving me my brother, God, and just him being such a blessing in my life, God. We ask that you bless this conversation, God, and that you're just with us the entire time, and just lead us through it, God. We love you so much. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, let's go ahead and start. I'll go ahead and get started with the first one. How do you think you've both changed the most over the years?
Oh,
You'll go start that one.
should I start with how you have or how I have?
How you have, and then I'll talk about
Oof. I think I've kind of maybe I took part of it from you, but I think I've been a lot more anxious and overthinking myself. I think I think maybe it was just me out of being young and just not thinking much before.
Yeah.
But especially when it's something or someone I care about, I think it hits me on a deeper level where it's hard for me to get things off my mind. I think I always overthought things to a certain extent, but I think it's just changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we both are complete opposites when it comes to that. I think I'm a much more external processor, and you're much more of an internal processor. Like I need like some sort of what's the word? I need to talk to people, to kind of process, what I'm thinking and process what's going on in my life. If something is really bothering me, if I keep it in, if I internalize it, then it really I don't think I can make it better. And I think people like yourself, correct me if I'm wrong, I think, internal processors can have a better way of processing it internally, but I think it can be dangerous to internalize.
Yeah, that's what I talked about this on my last time here. I said there's ups and downs about both. I think with external processors, it teaches you to how to process thoughts with others.
Yeah.
But you struggle on the other hand with being able to process things in your head.
Yeah.
At least early on. And you might accidentally depend on people that shouldn't maybe aren't dependable.
Yeah.
And then with internal processing, I think you learn how to process common anxieties. You don't make everything the world to everyone around you, but I think you don't know to what point
Yeah.
to where it's too much, and you end up putting a lot of that on yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a dangerous thing. So I think that's kind of something I've always wanted to see you kind of do is
Yeah.
to talk about it. I think it's important,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something that I've always done kind of naturally, and not to say that I'm better than anybody because of it. I just think that it's a healthier
Sure.
way to do things because when you have the input from
A third party source. Yeah.
another person's wisdom, I think it helps you process things.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I ask whenever I'm dealing with something, I ask a whole bunch of people, and I think I can get like with all of those inputs, I think I'm able to come to peace with whatever it is a
Yeah.
little bit better. I mean, I still don't stop thinking about it because that's the way I am. The OCD mind, but yeah, that's that's kind of something. And I think that's kind of the thing that I've really grown in is sort of that overthinking in a way. I think I'm able to kind of cope with that a little bit better. I don't know if cope's the right word. It might be the right word. I think I've been able. I've found strategic ways to shut it out. I guess.
Sure.
Either shut it out or sort of kind of deal with it. And that in that way. So I think I've grown a lot in kind of the way that I've thought, and I think that. And what I was talking about is what you helped me with, is I don't overthink stuff too much that maybe you or one of my friends
Yeah.
would be able to.
More situational.
Yeah. I think I can deal with situations better, which is going to make I that's why I think it's important to get all kinds of different inputs so you can come to your own conclusion. So, yeah, that's kind of the way that I've grown, as I've been able to kind of deal with my own mental health and start living a little bit better, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. But,
No, that makes clear sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've definitely seen that in you. I think it's also, with my experience with you growing up, when it's somebody, you cared about. I think you took that well into your teen years. May still be something you struggle with, but it's somebody you care about, when they go out to do something, that brought you a lot of anxiety because you'd overthink, the situation.
Yeah.
Like with me, going out to do something, even if you were there, it would still make you anxious, even if I was just being stupid or climbing a tree or something like that. But sometimes it was very reasonable.
Yeah.
But I think, now I think, you
kind of loosened up in that.
Loosened up for sure.
Yeah, I was a very anxious
Yeah.
kid. So I think I'd bring that a lot on you.
Yeah.
Because I'd have like this feeling of responsibility to protect you in some sort of way whenever we were younger, and which is good. I mean, I think that was, the right way to think about it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think I acted like your parent in some sort of ways, and I was only like 3 years younger than you, or 3 years older than you, rather.
Yeah.
And I think I acted like, in a lot of ways, I acted like your parents whenever I should have been, more so your brother, and but I think in some ways that anxiousness, kept you safe, and then in a lot of ways it kind of kept you from just being a kid, and I didn't, and luckily mom and dad were there to be like, you need to stop, and it didn't affect you, hopefully. But I think I had that kind of I don't know, that habit.
Speaking of the age difference, I think that was a lot more big I think as we're growing up, I think that becomes less and less of a problem.
Well, whenever we're in our 40s.
Yeah, but even now, what I've noticed as, I've gone later into my teen years is, I can relate to you more. And, we can kind of find common ground. Like we can have, deep, casual discussions.
Yeah.
And it's not like, I mean, you give me great advice, when I need it. But, a lot of the times, we can actually talk about issues, the both of us, and each have a equal amount of input.
Yeah. Do you think this is a question? It's not, question, but
yeah.
Do you think that because of do you think you mature a little bit faster
Yes.
than other kids kind of in that grade because
Yeah.
of having an older brother?
Yeah.
And I know you're still in high school. You still got
Sure.
maturing to go.
No, but
and I still do too. I'm an early college kid. But
100%.
but do you think that kind of helped with maturity or
100%.
kind of understanding?
I mean, it also, like, with respect, the situation around me.
Yeah.
One, I have an older brother, and two, for the people, in my grade level, I am a bit, a notable amount older, but yeah, I think definitely having an older brother, influenced a lot of that.
Yeah.
I've been able to gain a lot of wisdom out of it. So
Very cool. Well, I'm glad.
I've been very thankful about that.
That's good. That's good. You want to ask
Yeah.
the next question?
What is one thing you wish you understood about me?
I don't know,
man.
man. I don't think there's like anything in particular that I wanted to understand. I kind of value individuality, I suppose. Like kind of me being my own person, you being your own person. So there's not really. I kind of want you to figure yourself out, and if you need my help with that, then I don't think I have one, to be honest with you. I don't think there's one thing that I want to understand about. I mean, besides your internal processing, which we've talked about. But I don't think like there's anything in particular. Do you?
I mean, that was a good point with the internal processing you brought up. I think it's the same thing. I've always wondered, because, there are some times when I'm like, I don't, especially, I've grown more, through it, but I still struggle with it. But, thinking that I have to deal with this myself, like that's part of, my strength is I have to, deal with something by myself. But also just genuinely, it's not even like when I have an issue, my first initial thought, it's not that it was like, too big or I didn't want to bring it to the table, but it's like it doesn't even cross my mind to like, I should, go home and talk about this. Like it's just, like
it's just like
it's just like I just kind of toss it into my pile of thoughts. It's a little interesting when I'm sorry. It's a little interesting when I see people, like their immediate reaction is, "Hey, I got to tell, everyone I know about, my issue." I'm like, "Whoa, like that's surreal to me because I don't even like that's not how I behave at all. Like it's it's not that it's too big. It's just like I don't react that way. So it's not just you, but it's also with people like you, external processors. Something I've always wanted to understand is why is that your initial thought? Why is your initial thought, or how, I guess, is your initial thought to, want to go out and talk about that immediately when you're presented with an issue?
Well, I don't think that's any of your business. No, that's a great question. I don't think it's like. I'm sorry. No, I honestly, it's not something that I like really. Like if there's something bothering me, I'm like, I gotta tell somebody about this. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that is the case. Like there was one situation in particular where I went up right to my buddy Landon actually, and I was like, I gotta talk to somebody about this. I think you weren't home, mom and dad weren't home, so I was like, okay, I think Landon's home, so I'll go talk to him about it. And I went over to his house and I processed that with him, and that was like that's the one situation where I was like, I got to have somebody around, and I have to sort of process what's going on with somebody because I might be acting like an idiot, or I might be acting completely intact with what I need to be acting like, so I needed. And he's somebody that really he's not an overthinker. From what I've seen, he might tell me differently, but I think in like ways that I very much overthink, he doesn't at all. And that's gotten me in trouble a couple times whenever he's given me advice about something. And I've there's been some embarrassing times, but yeah, I think it's not really that I need to tell somebody about it. A lot of the times it's like if I don't talk to somebody about this, I think I could hurt myself. Not like physically hurt myself, you know what I'm saying? But I think I could mentally hurt myself, like to where I can't recover from this, if that makes sense.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
that's why I think therapy is so important. I don't want to hurt myself for the record,
Yeah.
but I think that I think I could mentally not traumatize myself, but I think I could because I don't process things internally. I have to talk to people.
Yeah.
You know, some things I can process internally, and I'm getting better at some things that I don't necessarily need to say out loud that I can just process internally. But I think I could mentally drain myself to the point where I can't figure it out, and it scares me.
Yeah.
That's a better word. I don't think it'll hurt myself. I think I'll scare myself.
Yeah.
If I don't have an external input, if that makes sense. So the way I said that sounded really violent. I promise that's not the case. But
that's a good way of putting it.
No, I think I could scare myself if I don't get it out, you know, or if I don't, not necessarily get it out, because I sometimes even talking, man, I mean, it's scientifically proven that, you know, talking to somebody, you even just getting out, like saying what you need to say, saying something that's been bothering you, maybe that something's been heavy on your heart, talking to somebody is very important, and it's very therapeutic. Like that's why therapy is like that's one of the biggest reasons I think therapy is important, is because you talk about it, you know, and yeah, you get input, you know, you get input from a professional, which is also super important, but I think even just talking about it is super important. And that's something I've always wanted to kind of encourage you with, is talking about it, you know, so
I definitely think that's something, you know, I've gotten, you know, a bit better at. You know, I think something that's also pushed me to motivate me to do that more is, you know, experience with doing it, and experience with, you know, dependable people's reactions, like going to you, or, you know, even our parents have been very, you know, like, I think we can both agree that, you know, they're very, you know, after talking with them, that, you know, you kind of get a little peace. It's also, it helps a lot because, you know, they're both in ministry, so that, you know, when it comes to especially, you know, biblical stuff, or you want, you know,
spiritual
input,
stuff,
or spiritual stuff, input from, you know, God or something like that, you know, they're familiar with that field. But I think it also, what pushes me to really, like, you know, break that internal processing is when I fear I'm gonna hurt someone else, or if somebody is, you know, going to be affected by something, by a situation, then I'm like, I really, like, I think my care for other people trumps my my urge to just hold things to myself.
No, that's good. That's good. I think, that kind of sums up. I think that would be the only thing that I would kind of want to understand about you. And I think we've talked about that, like, throughout our lives, is like, why don't you talk to people about it, you know? But I think so. You've both gone through, we've both gone through changes in our own ways. How do you think that's kind of affected our relationship?
There's a lot of, I think that's also a broad question. I think, you know, we've changed in some ways. I don't know if it was the same with me for you, but for me with you, there we go. That's grammar. For me with you, it was, I think you were also a part of a lot of that change. Like, you know, I think when it comes to, like, worldviews, and, you know, we've always opened ourselves, you know, to each other for discourse. You know, whether it's political, you know, or theological, or, you know, something like that. We've always opened to, you know, discourse and debate.
I think at one point, like, we were on complete opposite ends of.
Oh yeah, we used to be polar opposite. Now it's just been thrown out the water, and we got to be careful. But
I think we used to, like, man, we used to get in, like, debates, like, you know, kind of over political stuff, over the theological stuff, over just things happening in the world that we didn't agree on much for a while. And I think that was good, because I'm a huge fan of kind of debate. You know,
Yeah, me too.
I never like did like professional debate. And I don't plan to. I'd lose my mind. But
I think I plan to, but
with that kind of disagreement, I think disagreement's like super important.
oh, for sure.
So I enjoyed disagreeing with you. Of course, I think we align more now. I
Yeah.
think we've kind of met in the middle,
Yeah.
politically, theologically. I think we just kind of went through that time where we were on completely different ends of the
Yeah.
maybe not theologically. I think we've always kind of aligned a little more theologically.
Yeah.
But I think more politically.
I think there were light
worldview.
discussions we had, political or theological, but worldview and politically, those were like our heaviest debates.
Yeah, but I think we challenged each other in that way.
Yeah,
And I think, and you always say we got to be careful now, kind of being in an echo chamber, because we don't want to be, ignorant to what's happening, because we agree with each other. That's not good. So I've always wanted to challenge myself. So I think we've both changed in like the way that we think about things. I think, critical thinking, and I think we both have changed in that regard.
I think you've, man, it's weird. Like, I think there was a point when we started, heavy debating a while back was, I think you challenged me with a lot of a blunt, empathetic, thing that kind of, I think that really affected me and that kind of brought me to where I am. Especially, that was at a point where I was working on my relationship with God and, building it. And, I had to kind of renovate my mind and, my values and my beliefs. But, I also think there were times when I may have been too, like, exclusive of empathy and, focused on, what I thought was, logical fact. And then, and I think there were times when it was the opposite with you, where, your care for people, really held you. But I think we both kind of met.
Yeah, I think there's a very good. I think both sides do something very well. I think one side is very more so the logical mind, and I think the other is a very empathetic mind. But if you go too far either way, it can. You need both, So that's why I'm a super big fan of the idea of unification, of kind of.
It's like
Yeah, that's my biggest goal, and it's not something that anybody wants to do anymore. Is nobody wants to listen to the other side, They just want to stand in their little comfortable bubble, and kind of be ignorant to the actual views because they just want to listen to what other people are saying in that echo chamber that they're in, But man, super important. Like y'all don't, you don't understand how, much you have in common with the other side of your, whoever you disagree with. You might disagree with somebody on every topic, but there's you always have something in common. You care about something and your whole idea is you want to defeat evil and you want peace. I don't think, and Luke actually preached on this, and I might be going off on a tangent, so shut me up if you need to, but Luke preached on this, and I think it was a great sermon where, we have two sides who are completely, divided. Polar opposites, but we're not listening. We're kind of, and both sides want similar things. They have the same goals in a sense, in some senses, but in other senses maybe not. But mainly they have the same goals. They just have different ideas on how to get there.
Yeah, same issue, same care for an issue.
But they just disagree on how to solve that issue. And I don't know why people don't come to the conclusion to hate rather than to understand. Because I think both sides have, a point to make.
Yeah, I
You know,
think.
I just think we need to listen and understand. You know, I think that's the biggest thing we need to do. And I think we did that with
Yeah,
each other, and I think we taught ourselves that, and I think that we're both passionate about spreading that word.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an awesome point. I think. Yeah, I think what society has done is blurred the lines between, or blurred the lines of care for a fundamental issue between two parties or two groups, and used it as just a tool for division, and
Yeah.
kind of forced everyone on a black and white board. But yeah, I think that was spot on.
Yeah.
What role has faith played in how you see the world or deal with struggles?
I think in a way, in every way, I think it's kind of helped me. There was a time in my life where I was not a Christian, and I
Yeah.
was well. It was, and I've talked about this in the
A
past.
period of just
I talked
yeah.
about it on the community conversations actually, where there was a time where I was pretty much an agnostic, leaning atheist.
Yeah.
I really struggled for a long time, and like scientifically, I looked at everything, and looking at science. Of course, I'm not a I don't know everything about science, obviously. I'm still very young. But I think science has always brought me to the conclusion of a creator, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that there have been points that were made that kind of scared me away from the faith, for a while.
Yeah.
And I would still pray, even in that time, which is weird, even in the time where I genuinely thought it was lights out when he died. Like that was, a point in my life where I think that might have been the scariest point in my life because I didn't know who I was. Man, I was really struggling, and
Yeah.
I didn't know what defined me, if there was anything that defined me, if I was just some guy on a planet in the middle of nowhere, literal
Yeah.
nowhere, And that thought scared me as I genuinely thought for a little bit that it was lights out when he died, and that scared me a lot. But I think I think God really kept that hold on me, throughout that that whole time, and I still struggle with doubt, and I think everybody does, no matter how much they want to admit it.
Yeah.
Everybody struggles with a certain amount of doubt, but I've never been, I've always been a skeptical person.
Yeah.
Always, always, always. Faith, like whenever I had that faith and I trusted God, I mean, there things aligned, even if it was struggles.
Yeah.
There was a time in my life where I had the most faith that I ever had, and I was going through the toughest time that I've been through.
Yeah.
And even though I was in a whole lot of pain, it didn't compare to the pain that I had when I thought that there was nothing.
Yeah.
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 I think, like, in that time in my life, I was going through something really hard, you know? But the idea that there was, that God was with me through all of that and that he stood by me and that he was not going to leave me nor forsake me, I think really, really helped me. And I think that's kind of, something I always preach with, if I'm evangelizing or whatever, if that's the word you want to use, spreading the word. I don't like it when people start with, so you're hellbound,
Yeah.
and you, and if you don't accept God, you're going to, which we know is true.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't think that's the proper way to do it. I think the proper way to do it is to say that there is this God who loves you. He's an all-knowing God who loves you,
Yeah.
And he wants nothing more than have a relationship with you. And when you give that trust and that, faith into him, it's not going to be rainbows and butterflies, but it's going to be a peace that you've never known. And it's going to, that's, I think, and some sort of that. I don't think I explained my position very well, but I think that is the way that's what brought me back to the faith.
Yeah.
So I think faith has played, a very, it's kind of been a roller coaster
Yeah.
with me. It's been the literal, kind of, what is the word? It's kind of defined my life,
Yeah,
my
for
faith.
sure.
Whether I had it in a certain place or it didn't,
Yeah.
but it's been a ride, but it'll keep being a ride. But
Yeah.
yeah. What about you?
I think one of the biggest things, and I think it was as I got older, I think something I struggled with, well, kind of where I strengthened my, kind of going back earlier, right? Strengthened my faith in Christ was, at some point, I was challenged, at school, by, peers and friends, and then, being on the internet growing up, you see kind of, it's surreal going through your life and, being taught God from, um, since since how as far as you can remember,
Yeah.
and then and seeing a whole different like cynical perspective,
Yeah.
and then it kind of, and some very smart people who just completely different in that
Yeah.
belief, and it kind of forced me to search for why I, believe what I believe.
Yeah.
And I kind of had to break down, every foundation I had, and it caused me a lot of anxiety. And I had to build that from a whole new base. And I just kind of kept me through a lot of sleepless nights. Just having some big questions you didn't have answered.
Yeah.
And then that fighting, with you. And I mean, the reason it meant so much to me is it was a big part of my life. It was a big, it's something that really directly affected me, not infected, affected me. But yeah, and then a big thing I struggled with was, as I got older, is loneliness, and anxiousness kind of on top of that, and knowing that there's a God who is not going to forsake you, and that he's offering himself as kind of a intimate, personal being to have a relationship with you. I think that was that kind of resonates with me in a special way.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's really cool. Yeah. I think everybody, in a certain sense, believe or not, has faith. I think faith plays a role in.
it's something. Yeah,
You have to have faith in something.
yeah,
And I think that plays a role in everyone's life. So
for sure.
as much as I thought at one point, that there was nothing to have faith in,
Yeah,
you have faith. I think even an atheist at some point, like, they have to have faith in the fact that there's nothingness. And,
yeah,
life is a lot of faith. Because nobody, yeah. That
sure.
makes sense. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Next question. Let's do it. How has growing up in a pastor's family shaped you?
Oh, we touched on this.
We
Not
did.
too, but let's go into more
I don't think
detail.
we talked about how it shaped us. I think we
Yeah.
just talked about the difference between being
Yeah, I guess so.
preacher's child.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I don't think we, for the most part, followed a stereotype. I think our, like we were taught with a base of Christianity, and we were, raised with it. But, mom and dad both had it was important to them that, our faith was based on, our own, our own understanding and, what we would come to, and not, based on themselves or them.
Yeah.
And, we were also like, we weren't, we didn't we weren't like homeschooled.
Yeah.
You know, nothing against that. Just you know, we were put, you know, with, you know, a tie, but it was still, you know, loose to where we were able to find our, you know, our discoveries. You know, we grew up in a public school environment, you know, around a lot of people who, you know, at least I know for myself, and from what I know for you too, is, you know, we are and have been friends with people who, you know, are come from kind of different backgrounds and have completely different worldviews. You know, I'm friends with, you know, plenty of believers, but also, you know, a majority of agnostics and atheists, and, you know, people who are just, you know, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, just impacted, you know, my perspective on people, and it's allowed me to build an empathetic drive.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of, I mean, we've grown up with pastors' kids all of our lives, you know, you know, and some have been, you know, like us, you know, where it's been like, you know, where we had more of a freedom in our faith, you know, but, and I'm so glad that we weren't raised by strict pastors,
Yeah.
you know, or strict parents that were in the ministry, because I know a lot of people who are, and they kind of get shaped by their parents' faith, you know, and you know that's I don't like it. I don't like it. You know, towards, you know, because whenever we were, you know, whenever we were little, I mean, they were strict on entertainment. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it wasn't so much like, you know, the only violent thing you can watch is The Passion of the Christ. You know
I mean, we were allowed to watch Avengers. Come on now.
No, like we were. That wasn't, you know, the only thing. But I think, yeah, our parents were like, whenever we were younger, they were strict on not as, you know, strict as others, but they were stricter than others, you know, because we were kids growing up to where they were playing like Grand Theft Auto whenever they were 5 and 6.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm standing, I'm like, you know, or, you know, they throw South Park on for their kids, you know. I'm like, oh, Lord, you know, and that's, I don't think that's in a way healthy for a young kid, you know. But I also think trapping your kid in this box to, and again, I'm young, I'm not a parent, you know, but and so I don't have this figured out, you know, and I'll hopefully I'll have more of an understanding whenever I am a parent. But you know, I think like if you trap your kid in this box of like, you know, so sheltered, you know, that they can't really think for themselves, and they're trapped in this echo chamber all of their childhood lives, and then and then you throw them off into the world, you know, at 18 years old, you know, and then you're like, good luck, dude. You know
I think it's a hazard.
Yeah, it's definitely a hazard. And I don't think that's a good way to do it. And I think our parents, and you know, again, there's a lot of growing for me to do, and for you as well.
Yeah.
But I think you know, in that regard, I think our parents kind of slowly inched in freedom.
Oh, they,
you know, I think they gave us a basis. You know, this is Christianity. This is, you know, we believe this wholeheartedly to be true, and this is why. And they gave us great evidence for it, and they gave us great, you know, a great basis on it. And we grew up Christian, and we're still Christian now. You know what I'm saying? And I think some people could be afraid to do that, you know, in a way, to where they don't want to let their kids, you know, go because they're afraid that they're going to be influenced too much. You know, they're going to be influenced. You know what I'm saying? That's a part, you know, of life, you know, is to be influenced by other things, but think for yourself. That is literally, like, that's individuality. You know, God gave you that. You know, God gave you that free will to make your own decisions. Thank God, you know, that we have the freedom to make our own decisions. And you know, you got to make mistakes. You're not just going to make mistakes. You have to make mistakes in order to learn, you know.
We learn off of trial and error. Yeah.
Right. I absolutely agree. So I think our, you know, being raised in my experience, and I think in our experience, so I think we can agree on this, is that we weren't raised in any different way than, you know, besides we had to go to church every Sunday, you know, because, you know, our dad was preaching. And they had to be there every Sunday. We didn't really skip Sundays growing
Yeah.
up, and we still don't really skip Sundays.
Yeah.
I mean, I do every once in a while because I have other things to do sometimes. But I still love God. And I'm still a Christian. And I go through my own battles, and mom and dad have helped out tremendously
Yeah.
with those battles. I mean, I don't
100%.
think, I don't know where I'd be without their wisdom spiritually and even down to earth type stuff, if that makes sense. So that's kind of my experience with the pastor stuff.
Even a deeper question. Growing up, I've heard from right, you're looking online or something of plenty of kids kind of being ashamed to have parents in the ministry or pastor's kid rather. Has that ever been something you struggle with? Being like I don't know, especially with the the typical stereotype going around that you've been like I guess conscious about.
Yeah. So like, are you asking? I'm sorry, just so I can understand. Are you asking if I ever had shame of my parents being?
Yeah, like that people might associate you with,
That's a good question. Actually, that's a really good question. I think people expected me to be a lot more kind of good, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I think people expected me to be essentially Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because people look at these.
Goody two shoes.
Yeah, I mean, not that Jesus is goody two shoes, but he was a perfect human.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Jesus came down and showed us how it's done.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people look at people in ministry and false teachers a lot of the time as literal gods. Not that I would ever say a kid would look at me at, or people would look at me growing up as to be, like that. But I think they expected me to be much better than I am for some reason because I'm a pastor's kid, and I wasn't. Not that I was a horrible kid. I was I would say I was a good kid. Okay, dude. I would say I would say I was a good kid. But I grew up in public school, dude.
Yeah.
And I I wasn't always a goody, and I did things that, not did things, but I would do or say things that, a kid knowing that I was a pastor's kid would go, dude, shoot, that, whenever he did or he or she would do 10 times worse, like just because I'm a pastor's kid does not make me have to be better than you and you're in that way. You know what I'm saying? You're still supposed to be to the same standard biblically as I am. Just because I'm a pastor's kid does not mean I have to be more obedient to God than you do. Like, no, that's, but I never, even in the time where I didn't really believe in God, I always actually found, pride's the right word. I was proud that I was a part of a ministry family because I thought that I think that my parents, and I think that Luke and Katie, both, I think my parents and those two guys, Luke and Katie, I think they're both those couples are just excellent examples of Christians.
Great role models, yeah.
Yes, I think even whenever I was struggling with the existence or the legitimacy. Thank you. I was, kind of struggling with that. I always looked to my church and my, ministry background with being proud of it, because I think that I have a great church, and I still went to church even whenever I was struggling. Mostly because my dad's a pastor, and I was there. And there was Sundays I was like, I want to listen, And even when I was like, but I always looked to mom and dad and Luke and Katie. Both of those guys, I think, are just excellent examples of Christians and exactly what I want Christianity to be.
Yeah.
You know, and I might be, and sure, I'm biased because, you know, they're my pastors, and but I do. I think, you know, I think that they live for God, man. You know, and they I think that they focus on the things, you know, on that love. You know, that is what I get from my parents and Luke and Katie.
Very gentle spirits, yeah.
Very gentle and very loving. And that's and my mom always said this. She says, I don't want people to look at me and say that she's a this or that, like a Republican or a Democrat or a you know, or a whatever it might be. I want somebody to look at me and say that's a Christian. That is a good Christian.
Yeah.
You know, that is what Jesus said a Christian should be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, and people even disagree on what that means, and I think that's ridiculous. But, yeah.
I think, you know, I think also, I don't think it was, at least in my, you know, casual social public school life, I don't think it was, you know, that relevant as people might think. Like, you know, I think we grew up, I don't like to use the word worldly.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that gives, you know, a very secular kind of rhetoric to people.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, our parents were all, like, we weren't, you know, listening to worship music only, and, you know. Like,
yeah, that is a stereotype.
Yeah, it's like we, you know.
Like, we should have So Will I on repeat. And
yeah,
like,
we grew up with grunge, dude. You know,
like, we like Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, me and you still, you know, at least to some extent, you know, like rap and, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're both big on rock and everything.
Yeah.
And we both, you know, are huge fans in the, you know, movie film industry.
Yeah.
And, you know, video games were, you know, all about that stuff. But, like, I don't think it was, you know, it never really came up that much in conversation. I think there were a lot of friends that I had that, like, it may have taken them like 2 years in, and they're like, you know, what are your parents doing? I was like, oh yeah, my dad's a pastor, and they'll be like, oh really? And I'm like, yeah, he owns a church. But like, it was never like that relevant where I had to, unless I wanted to win an argument, of course.
Yeah,
but
and even if you talk to like you know, people get these stereotypes off of pastors and even their kids, dude, is like they are better than you in some way. You know what I'm saying? They're not. You know, I mean, they strive to be more. They strive to be godly, like everybody should. They might do a better job at that because, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But they might do a better job at that because they're in the ministry, so they strive more for that, I suppose. But I mean, yeah, dude, I like rock. I like modern secular music. Now, do I worship that anyway? Is there a lot of sin and evil in that?
Sure.
Yes. But a lot of the times I can set that to the side and be like, okay, well, is there any redeeming qualities about this? Is there anything I can take out of this as redeeming? I look at things and I analyze them as like, wow, you know, that's not godly, you know? Secular stuff. I'm not worshiping the world, you know what I'm saying? And that, but you look at things, we watch movies, you know, we listen to music, and a lot of the times we struggle with it. You know, we're like, okay, well, there's a good part to this. You know, there's redeeming qualities about this, but there's other things that are really ungodly about it, and we have to. And that's why analyzation is so important. That's why, you know, critical thinking in that sort of way is important. And yeah, I love that. That's why I like watching movies. You know, so
I think you know, for the record, I think you know there is a line. You know, I think you know you can. Some people are very strict about, you know, for themselves. The Holy Spirit has convicted you to, you know, and you don't want to listen to that stuff or, you know, watch, you know, certain things. Sure. But, you know, I also think, you know, there is a line, like, you know, me and you have, you know, gone out and seen numerous, you know, horror movies together and everything. I mean, you know, some movies we're able to, you know, separate Hollywood from, you know, just entertainment, enjoy it. And there are some movies that we've gone and seen, and it was like, it just glorifies Satan. There's been a couple movies I've walked out, like, I'm a huge film guy. You know, I love watching movies. I love going to the movie theaters.
And there's been a couple movies where I'm like, no, this glorifies God.
Yeah.
I got to walk out, and I've walked out, and there's been a couple that have really walked that line, but I've been able to kind of be like, okay, where I see where the creators were going with this. I see the message they were trying to do, but they were a little bit more blatant about it, and I'm able to kind of distinguish that,
Sure.
and I love doing that. I think it's a lot of fun as well, to do that.
Yeah.
That's kind of the stereotypes that go around being a pastor's kid, or even a pastor, is that y'all can't do, like, we can't do anything because, because we're in the ministry,
And like you said, I'm, that it's only grown as I've gotten older. I'm incredibly proud of our parents.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to be, have a family in the ministry.
Oh, yeah.
It's also, the reason I say it's grown is I've seen how, they've treated people.
Yeah.
I've seen, when people really needed them and, how dependable they were. And it's given me, I think when you've really needed them, they've reflected Christ quite well.
Yeah,
and, obviously, no one's perfect, but I definitely think they've served a good role model on, the direction to, aim your behavior and your heart.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm infinitely proud of both of them.
Yeah.
And our church.
Yeah, we have a great church. We do have a great church.
What do you think helps brothers stay closer as they grow older, if that's what that... as they get older? As brotherhood is a good topic.
That is. I don't really think there's any sort of magic thing. Magic.
I disagree. I think there's a few cheat codes, but
no, I don't think there's any one certain cheat code or anything like that. That kind of some brothers just grow apart, and we haven't done that, I think we've been good. I think we've kind of covered. We try to understand each other. We talk a lot, and we don't just shut each other off anymore. But I don't. We listen. We understand, and we have fun. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We're really stupid.
Yeah.
We we goof around a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's that's kind of what we do. I think, man, like that's it, man. Kind of we can go from a really in depth and what's the word, intellectual. A very thank you, Sean, for the face. I think we can go into a deep intellectual conversation, and then we can go right into the stupidest conversation. I don't think the world is ready
for some of the conversations we've had.
For some of the ridiculous conversations we've had. I think if we made a podcast, I think it'd be the most up and down thing on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we could stay on topic.
No. No, I don't think we could.
Yeah,
I mean that's my 2 cents on it. I think we just have fun when we can and get.
So basically, luck. I'm playing.
Yeah, essentially.
No, I think that's a. I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point, but I think understanding some things can help build your, especially earlier the better. Understanding things can help build, your brotherhood as you grow up. I think understanding that, at least, especially during the time where you're, in the same house, is that you've got to rely on your brother. This isn't, it's not a throwaway kind of all right, if, they don't want to be my friend, then, adios.
Yeah.
It's who else are you gonna trust?
Yeah, it's true.
I can confidently say this. I think you're definitely my best friend alongside being my brother. And I think just growing up, I think you've been very dependable, and it teaches you how to be dependable. Because you have somebody who's I mean, you'd say, blood related, but, you have somebody who you're obligated to grow up together.
Yeah.
And it kind of, they count on you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, understand that, that's who you have to trust with.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, likewise. Yeah, I think so too.
And I think people, I think brotherhood is a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope, whatever God gives to me.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think if he chose to give me 2 boys, that would be just a huge blessing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak from experience for sisterhood, but
Yeah, I think with me, man, I think it's whatever. I don't have a preference whether. I know this is kind of a side tangent, but I don't have I just want the siblings to have a good relationship. You know what I'm saying? No, and I want them to go through the things that we did. Like, we didn't like each other at one point.
Yeah.
all too much.
There's conflict.
Yeah.
I think it brought us closer.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think, I mean, whatever kid-wise, whatever God wants to give me.
For sure.
I don't have like a specific gender that I want. Yeah.
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 It's time.
What do you hope? Oh, what do we hope our relationship looks like 10 years from now?
I hope it's still, like I said, dependability.
Mm-hmm.
I hope, whatever conflict, God forbid, happens, with you or your life or your family or something, that, I'm always going to be there for you.
Yeah.
And likewise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and all, still remaining close. Like, obviously we'll both have, our own families and everything, but, still remaining close, brothers.
Mm-hmm.
That's, that's all, that's rooted all the way back in your early life. That's that one bond that you can, probably relate to the most if, you're blessed like us where we were, we didn't have too big of an age gap.
Yeah.
I know it's harder for some people who are teenagers and they've got, a 4-year-old brother.
Yeah.
But with people like us and in our situation, I hope, we keep that close dependability and the, just kind of also a friendship, deep friendship bond.
I agree. Yeah, I think wherever, I don't know where in the world I'm going to be in 10 years,
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think I want to be able to, even like stuff like we're gonna drift apart a little bit, not a whole lot,
Yeah, I mean that's part of life.
You're gonna get a family, hopefully, and I'm gonna hopefully get a family, that we both found separately, and that's gonna be our main priority.
Yeah.
It is gonna be our families, man. But I always hope that our families can be close.
Yeah.
And the cousins that hopefully we'll have we'll be close, and that we can even just like going out to eat regularly. You know what I'm saying, is like that's gonna be big, man. And I'm still gonna be able to depend on you when I need it, and I hope vice versa.
100%.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's my idea. Is I still want to be I want to be close with you and your family. I want my family to be family,
sure.
and I want your wife, your kids to be my family too. I want to be just close, with them as well. So
yeah.
That's kind of my idea. All right, last question.
If you could give each other one piece of advice, what would it be?
Keep doing what you're doing, man. I think keep thinking logically. Keep caring for people, and learn. Yeah. Keep an open mind. Do not close your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For you, the same thing, and trust God, and be loyal and faithful to Him as He is to you. And be faithful to others as He commands you.
Amen. You haven't been
playing Angry Birds this entire time, so I just wanted you to.
I have been.
Yeah.
I've been playing Subway Surfers on my phone the entire time as we've been talking. As he's been talking, and then I'll shut up.
I mean, you still mean a lot to me. It's just, I just think.
Subway Surfers is just much more fun than this.
Yeah.
It's just not as weird.
Not as weird, as strange as you are. Okay, I'll go first, and then you go first. Rapid fire. Who's funnier? You.
Thanks. Who's more competitive?
You. I think you. I think you're more competitive than I am.
Maybe. I mean, you did sports growing up, but I think.
Well, yeah, I was on the sideline. I was basically
All right,
competitive cheer.
We'll call it evens. Who gives better advice? Probably you're. I'll give it to you. I'll give that one to you for sure.
I'll
For
take
sure.
that one.
For sure.
I will humbly
Yeah.
take.
Yeah.
Humbly take that one.
At least in my experience with you. I don't know your experience with friends, but with.
Who takes longer to get ready? You, 10,000%, princess.
Yeah, I'm a
little. You, this guy has to.
I call it basic hygiene. As a matter of fact,
it's basic hygiene and more. Listen, I am for basic hygiene.
Yeah. This guy uses deodorant.
But this guy, this guy literally takes. I think you and your wife are gonna get along very well because y'all are both.
No, they're gonna be fighting.
I feel very insulted.
They're gonna be fighting over the mirror,
dude.
and I think, but y'all will both be 15 minutes late to everything because of.
That's it, just 15.
Who's more likely to start an argument?
Ooh, I think we both antagonize each other quite a bit.
Yeah.
Zane does.
I like to be satirically antagonistic.
Yeah, you're
I like to get really serious and mean.
You rage bait.
Oh, 100%.
You rage bait. No, so yeah, no. But I think
I need to stop that. That's actually a serious problem I have. Is rage
rage baiting.
How are you not internet famous?
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you rage bait, so I think you start arguing. But I do it in different ways, though. I think I'm more subtle about. I troll.
Yeah.
Just a traditional.
I think I'm more sarcastic than you
He's a
are.
professional rage baiter.
Yeah, I think I'm more sarcastic than you are. I
You think so? I feel like I'm very satire. A lot.
Maybe I think overall I'm goofy. You know, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't figured it all out yet. Who's more likely? Whoa, I'm not gonna answer that question. What in the world?
I guess that one just.
I guess that one got. Who's more likely to end it? ChatGPT. What in the world? By the way, this episode of Community Conversations is brought to you by OpenAI.
The whole ChatGPT thing.
Well, we
Alright,
can't put
who's better with money? You.
You kind of crap your money down there.
Yeah, I like to spend.
Yeah.
On other people too. Who's more likely to get lost driving?
I guess you'll ask the question.
yeah. I'll let you ask the last two.
Honestly, I think right now you, but I think you have a better sense of direction than I do.
Anybody get lost with GPS?
I have found ways, dude. I'm so serious. I have found a way to get lost with GPS. I don't have I'm a great driver. I pride myself in my driving, but my sense of direction is a little.
I'm a good driver. I'm more cautious though.
I had to use my GPS
which
in
is
here.
bizarre.
It's not true. I was just kidding. Huh?
Yeah, I am very humble.
Just got my license. I am an excellent
I
driver.
know.
You.
Flawless.
Daxton drives 10 under the speed limit right now.
All right. I don't like this whole this tension that's been brought to me.
Listen, I will say,
Give me the microphone.
you go on Highway 99, speed limit of 70, going 60. I think that's reasonable.
All right.
50, 40.
You?
6, 7. Huh? Yeah,
Is it me or you?
sure. I think you right now, but I think overall, I think you have a better sense of direction than I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Central Driver's wrong. All right. Now, are you asking this question?
Oh, yeah, about time.
All right.
Who's the better gift giver? Not me. I think we both suck at gift giving.
Wonder where you get it from.
I really.
My dad, listen,
I'm actually a pretty good gift giver.
I love my
Admit it.
dad. So my mom is an excellent gift. Our mom is excellent gift giver, but I think like every Christmas that I've ever known, Dad has looked just as surprised as we are when we open our gifts. I love him to death, but
It'll
that
be
is
like, I'll
not-
say from dad, and he'll be like, "What? We caught him that?
how bad that hurt. You know that.
Wow."
Whoa, dude, that's cool.
That's exactly what it does.
Like, dude,
Well,
let me
Zane-
try that out, dude.
Zane, I think we can just use that to cover up the fact that it's not that we're bad gift givers. I think it's just that we're broke.
I know
Because I think I can gift.
I've
think-
gotten a couple of gifts from you. They've been good gifts. I've gotten
For me?
Yeah, you've gotten me posters.
Oh yeah.
I've gotten some gifts. You've gotten some gifts. I am the better gift giver. But no, I honestly, Yeah, I'm terrible. Like I don't think of that stuff. I think of people in different ways. Like
Yeah.
I love people in different ways than that. I don't really think about this is a gift I'd give you. I don't do that.
Yeah, I don't really either.
I don't really do that. I don't.
Maybe we need to work on that. That's a problem we really have.
We probably yeah. Who's more like dad? Who's more like mom? Crap, man, that's not rapid.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Dex has longer hair, so.
Is there something you're trying to talk to me about, Sean?
She did take forever in the, get ready, so.
Since when do you know this piece of information?
We're recording!
Sensation.
You said it 5 minutes ago!
Boy.
We're
I think
both.
I think we're a good mix.
Political.
right,
I
brother.
think honestly,
I need
I'm a little more like dad. I think I'm a little more like dad. I get along with mom great, but I think I'm more like dad.
I think, other than the fact that internal processing, that's something I link with mom well, but my mannerisms, the way I think about
I
stuff,
think we both do.
I think it's dad.
I mean,
it screams dad.
That's yeah. I think both of us are in the same way.
I get passionate, I pace around, dad.
Yeah.
It's all that.
Yeah, but I think we can both get really. I think we have mom's goofiness over dad's goofiness. Dad's goofiness sometimes. I sit back and I'm like, wow.
Wow, this is our father. Playing,
You're not old enough yet. You don't understand.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we're both a good mixture.
Yeah.
I think looks wise too. I think we both have a good mixture of them. I don't know.
yeah, I think so
I don't
too.
like to think about that too much. I like to think I'm on my own.
Please don't.
I'm my own.
Don't
Yeah.
hurt yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, Sean.
Laugh, man. I gets me every time.
No, I'm very proud of you. I think you're I think you're growing very well. I think I really like being there and seeing you grow up and believe it, even though you're my younger brother, you're watching me grow up too. I still have a lot to go through. So yeah, I'm proud of you, and yeah,
Pretty easy.
yeah. Thanks again for watching.
Oh, wait, we're supposed to pray it?
Oh, you want to pray us out?
Yeah, I'll pray us out. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us here, and thank you for Zane, and thank you for our brotherhood, and both actual and in Christ, Lord. Bless the rest of our weeks, and I pray that this conversation, to whatever extent, impacts the people who are listening. And Lord, please keep influencing us. Please keep, providing for us and giving us wisdom rooted in you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Bye.
Let's go to Whataburger.
I do want dessert.
And me too. Bye.
Sean's been asleep for 15 minutes.
It's tragic.
It is tragic. Yeah.
He's had a
What a
hard
bore.
day,
He's having a hard day.